Ram and Sham have something called as Bitcoins with them. They want to initiate a transaction. Now what they need to do? You voted it, we created it. Welcome to the brand new playlist on cryptocurrencies. This video is chapter 1 about cryptocurrencies. In this video, I will explain what is cryptocurrency by taking an example of Bitcoin. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Before I explain what is cryptocurrency and how it works, let us understand the concept of what is money. So money is defined as a fair exchange of value at a fixed rate. In India, money was introduced as early as 19th century by the British government, and since then we have this paper currency in circulation. Earlier, this paper currency, the note that I am holding in my hand, is pegged against gold under Bretton Woods system, but in the early 1970s it was scrapped, and technically this money has a no value but what we think of. Hence this currency is also called as paper currency. Now what is the problem with this currency? The problem with this currency is the way it operates, how it is controlled, and the side effects that you have while holding it. So to understand how this money is in circulation and how you and me are using it, let me draw a figure and then we continue to cryptocurrency. So as you can see, suppose you are having money. This is your paper money. Okay, even if you are getting a salary or if you are getting income or you are getting a sale of a product, how you are getting money? From other person. Now you are getting a money from other person. How is that person getting money? Maybe he is getting from another person. Now if you trace back from where the person or the society or the people are getting money, they are getting money from something called as banks. So banks are the central nervous system of this particular currency. If you don't have bank, from where you can generate the money? Of course you can generate the fake money, but the legal money is generated from banks. Now the banks control your paper currency or money. It can increase or decrease the supply of money in the system to cause inflation or deflation. That's the role of RBI or the Reserve Bank of India in helping control inflation and deflation. Now what is the problem with this particular system? So a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, who is considered to be the founder of Bitcoin, has seen this system and thought this is too much of controlling, because every person in the world, maybe this person 1, 2 or 3, doesn't matter where he lives, doesn't matter what occupation he has a business or a job or income, all the supply, all his money is actually connected to the bank. And you know, when you have all the money in the banks and the bank goes bankrupt, what then? Your money is not safe in the bank anymore. Remember the 2007 mortgage crisis? That's when the many banks got bankrupt and has been bailed by American government. So that's the problem that Satoshi Nakamoto wants to address, and that's why he created a cryptocurrency which is named as Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is not the first currency to be introduced. There was a currency in the 1990s which is called as eCash, but that's a different case to discuss. Now let's focus on Bitcoin. So let me rub it and explain about Bitcoin. So having addressed the flaw of having banks controlling your currency or your money and causing inflation or deflation, or maybe going bankrupt, the banks going bankrupt, and maybe the loss of money that you may face, this Bitcoin solve this problem. How it does, let us understand how it works. Let's say there are two persons, one is Ram and one is Sham. So now what if Ram and Sham want to initiate a transaction considering the current system? To do that, they need to have a bank with a bank account number. Let's say this is the bank. Now when they have bank, whatever the UPI IDs or whatever the apps they use, that will be connected to the bank, and then only the transaction can take place. The Ram sends the money to the bank confirms that he has that amount, then he sends it to Shyam. That's how the current system operates. So you need a bank to make a transaction. Definitely you have a cash in hand, you can do cash, but cash is also from where you get it? From banks. So that's why banks has a role to play. Now consider the another scenario. I call it a cryptocurrency scenario of Bitcoin. Now what happened when Bitcoin is there? This is Ram and this is Shyam. Now Ram and Shyam have something called as Bitcoins with them. They want to initiate a transaction. Now what they need to do? There is no need of bank right now. This particular system is decentralized, which means Ram can directly transfer money to Shyam, or Shyam can directly transfer the money back to Ram. So there is no system which is required, or no mediator or a body like bank is required to conduct or to confirm this transaction. But because you have a Bitcoin system, it's called as DLT technology, which is decentralized ledger technology. This system maintains a ledger of every transaction in the network in terms of blocks. So whenever transaction happens, there's a block which is formed in the system and it tells that Ram has done a transaction with Shyam. Similarly, the Shyam will also get the copy of the same transaction, which confirm the transaction has been made. Now this particular transaction should be kept in a record to let the system know the transaction has taken place. Now where this transaction is stored? This transaction is stored in something called as blockchain. So similarly, like Ram and Shyam, there are many other people in the world who are conducting a transaction. Let's say Anita and Geeta. They are also doing a transaction. So all this transaction gets connected. Let's say the number one transaction, the first transaction on blockchain happened between Ram and Shyam. So this is stored in a blockchain network under a Bitcoin, and the second transaction happened between Anita and Geeta. I call it A and G. Now this transaction will also get stored in a network which is like this, A and G. So these are independent transactions, but they are being stored in the ledger on the network, on the blockchain network, in terms of blocks. Now when this happens, when this decentralized network start connecting every block of the transaction took place, we call it as DLT, or it's called as decentralized ledger. Now with this ledger, it's very hard to break, because even if someone needs to break into the system, they have to break one by one every block, which is very difficult for a hacker to hack because it is spread all over the internet. So that's about the cryptocurrency or the technology behind it. And Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency which let you access process. So you can see the basic difference between current system and cryptocurrency is nothing but having bank being a centralized system, and this particular cryptocurrency is a decentralized system. It is independent of banks or any other third party. You need to have a mobile or a wallet address, and if you have that, you are good to go. Also, it is secure, it is more safer. Banks can be hacked, they can become bankrupt in itself. Remember the 2007 mortgage crisis. In this, there is no such problem of going bankrupt because there are no banks in between. It's you and your money. So this is the basics about what is cryptocurrency and how it works. In the next video, I will talk about banks versus bitcoins, and later on I will take you through the other altcoins. So keep watching, liking and sharing my videos. I see you in the next video with the new content and the new topic. Till then, take care and bye-bye.